I'm Sheila Singam, the founder of Human Equation. Today I'd like to share with you some tips I have on how to get focused and get into a working state while working from home. I started my business about 10 years ago and I didn't have a physical office then. So a lot of the time I worked from home. I really needed to get into a state of motivation, focus, excitement and energy to start the working day. The first thing I did every day was to discipline myself by writing a list of things to do, and I've already spoken about that in the previous video. The next thing I did was to get myself into a working state. Now, one way to get into a good working state is to anchor the space in which you work in. Anchoring is actually a way of setting a stimulus to get a similar response every time. What I did was to use a spatial anchor in my home. I would get a particular chair at my dining table, and when I sat down in that chair, I knew it was time to work. It's the same chair at that dining table every time where I produce my best work. Some of you who are working from home prefer to work in your bedrooms. Well, if that's your preference and that's your choice, that's fine. But here's just food for thought. That's also the place where you relax and go to sleep. So if you're anchoring that space for work, which means that you need to be focused and disciplined and energized and awake, it's going to be a bit hard to get to sleep and relax in that space. Another aspect to anchoring is to set a physical anchor on your body to get into a work state. Now, how do you do that? Can physical touch get you into a particular state? This is the technique I teach people in my programs. So first, mark a spot on your body. Now what I've done is I've put a little black cross on my hand over here. Let's say you want to get into a motivated state. So you think of a time in the past when you were really motivated, like on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 9 or 10. And you go back to that time. Imagine you're going back to that time and you're going right into that time and feeling the feeling that you felt then. As you go back to that time and feel the feeling, and you begin to feel the feeling rising in your body, touch that spot, hold it down for about 10 seconds. And as you feel the feeling beginning to wane, lift up your finger. You know what? Let me show you how it's done. I'm going to run through the process with you, and I want you to try it. First, have you marked that spot on your body? You have? Okay, great. So let my voice guide you through this process. And remember, as you feel the feeling growing inside of you, to touch that spot. So I want you to think of a time when you were really in a motivated state. Think of a specific time when on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 9 or 10. I want you to go back to that time now. Imagine you're floating into your body. See what you saw then, hear what you heard, and feel the feeling of being totally motivated. Anchoring it now. And lift it up. You got that? Let's try that one more time. So let's anchor the same spot, because that's what we call stacking the anchors so that it gets stronger every time you touch that spot, okay? So have your finger ready. Now, think of a time in the past when you were in a really excited state. Excited to go to work. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 9 or 10. Go back to that time now, float into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel that feeling of being totally excited. Anchor it. And lift it up. So how did that go? Now, let's see what happens when you press that spot again. Ooh, I got into that state of being really motivated and excited. So that's anchoring. And now remember, once you're in this focused, motivated, excited state, you really don't want to be distracted by requirements of the family, by your phone beeping. It's a great idea actually to tell people to call you between certain hours unless there's something urgent that needs to be said. It's good to schedule those phone calls and schedule reading your emails so that you don't get sidetracked. And resist the temptation to get onto Facebook to see what's happening in the rest of the world, because that can actually sometimes bring down your state, bring down your motivation level. Just focus on the ones that are related to work. Of course, after your working hours and when you finish your work-related tasks of the day, you can just get onto social media and go wild. So that's it from me, Sheila Singam, today on how you get into a desirable work state through various strategies. Thank you for listening.